All right. This is a very impromptu podcast episode. I have been so freaking busy. I have been so busy inside NFSA. We've got like quite a few people heading into launches, and I've been like on that like a rash. NFSA is my program. I've been just busy with life. The season changes is getting me all kinds of fucked up. So I haven't had time to do like my podcasts how I would ideally like. So I'm just doing it as and when for the next few weeks because things are literally chaos. But I felt this like wave of creativity today, and I was like, I really need to get this out because it's coming up more and more in my conversations, and yeah, I really need to get it out into a podcast. So, I want to talk about confidence online in your marketing and your content, and how I think we can sometimes like write ourselves off when we are first starting to find our feet and first starting to find what our unique expression is online, and I guess just being comfortable with that. And just like people do with like tech and like, oh, I'm not techie, people do the same with confidence. People say, oh, I could never do that. I'm not that confident, or I'm not that brave. So I really want to go into the irony around that. So if that sounds like you, or you feel like maybe even you present yourself as like fairly confident, but inside you like die inside. So I'll come on to that in a second. But really, confidence is essential for marketing, showing up online, creating content. For ADHD entrepreneurs, like coaches, mentors, service providers especially, like yes, you can have a business where you don't show up in content, right? You can have a business where it's completely off socials. It honestly, it's not as easy as it sounds. I know there's many people saying, yeah, you can do that. It's actually quite difficult. And I think it honestly makes a lot of ADHDers bored. And yeah, as I said, I won't go into it. It's not my thing. It's not that simple to solely do that. Whether you like it or not, with the business that you're in, coach, mentor, healer, service provider of any kind, like social media is the way to market yourself in 2025 and beyond. That's the truth. And I think it's just, yeah, taking a while for some people to come to terms with that. So confidence with that is essential. And I don't mean fake confidence. You know, many people try to fake confidence, which comes across as like fairly obviously disingenuous, or they actually hide in the shadows. They go the complete opposite way, which blocks the opportunity altogether. The kind of confidence that I'm talking about is authentic confidence. You know, not confidence where it's staged or like fabricated. So really, authenticity and confidence to me is the same thing. And it's something that you create. It's not something that you're born with. So yeah, I think confidence is probably one of the main things that I hear people say, yeah, I can't do that. So I want to give you an insight into why I should be the most afraid, unconfident person ever, and I'm not. So my story, I really was not born confident. People look at my content and often say like, oh yeah, it just flows for you, it's easy for you, like you're just like that. And I'm like, yeah, no, yeah, I wasn't. I am now, and it's taken a lot of work, but I was never like that. I was a very obviously neurodivergent child. It went unspotted because kids of my age, it was only boys getting diagnosed with ADHD. It was not girls. Like I didn't even think that it existed in girls, and like it was probably the same for my parents. I'm sure they didn't think that I had it because of that reason as well. So yeah, it went unspotted, but I was very obviously neurodivergent. I got bullied literally since I can remember. I have been bullied, and it got really, really bad in middle school and high school. It was terrible to the point of me not wanting to be here. It was traumatic. Like my life was consumed by it. My life was consumed by being hated by people. It was really fucked up. I'm not even gonna lie. But, you know, and that stopped when I was an adult, you know, sort of like 18, I hit puberty, got like actually quite hot, you know, like we kind of switched. But that didn't matter because I still felt alienated even after that. And just to amplify this as well, I was the first generation, right, in high school, pretty much, or like maybe the first main generation for sure, to have social media in the equation. I was bullied to no end on fucking social media, like to no end. To the point like my mum had to take my phone away. Like I was, yeah, really dragged through the mud quite a lot on social media. It was pretty messed up. I should hate social media. I should fucking hate it. Like, and I did for a while. I didn't really like despise it, but I didn't like it. I was like, oh yeah, social media is the root of all evil. To think that now, given what I went through as a young'un, to think that now the majority of my work is helping other people on social media be seen, be confident, make money, run their businesses, ADHDers, it, like, to me, is like, would have sounded wild if I'd have said that to myself back then. Like, oh yeah, like, you're going through some really shit stuff. One day your whole career is going to be based around social media and you're going to be on it every day. I would have literally been like, what kind of hellscape are you describing to me? Like, what the actual fuck? So yeah, essentially social media and confidence and like all of this stuff, content creation, becoming good at it, being myself online, like this shit has not come naturally to me. Like many people say, oh yeah, you're just a natural at it. No, I'm not. This has taken years of work to get to this point for myself, let alone like helping other people do the same. But this could have been a trigger for hate. Social media could have been a trigger for hate for me. But I made it a platform for me to help others to shine and express themselves. And like pretty much all of my clients have the same backstory. Like they're all neurodivergent in some way, or like suspected, or suffer with the symptoms, whatever you want to call it. They've probably all been bullied at school, or they've like, whether it's like bullying or parents, or like they've all got some sort of confidence block to like some degree. And for me, like, that's why I do it. Like, yes, there's the financial of like 100% like helping people make money, helping people get consistent sales, like helping people grow their businesses. That's half of the enjoyment for me, is watching people succeed and like create wealth and create success for themselves. But the other half is like, there is nothing that lights me up more than watching students and clients gain confidence. And I, like, every time someone says like, oh yeah, I really feel like I'm me now, like I'm really doing the thing that's really happening, like I'm such a soppy bitch. I'll just cry. I'm just like, or when like, I always feel very emotional when people leave, like NFSA or any group container I run. I get very emotional because they always end it with, oh yeah, no, I feel like I'm like reborn in a way. Like I feel like I know who I am, like beyond just the business stuff. And that is why I do it. It's the expression, it's the authenticity, it's like also the ability to succeed financially, yes, but it's the deeper stuff that running a business is really based around. So kind of getting into this on a more like really thinking about where confidence comes from. So it doesn't come from fresh air. I don't believe that you are just born a confident person. I think some people are lucky enough to have parents who build up their self-esteem from a really young age and, really instill confidence in your children, which you should be doing. Most of us don't have parents that did that. That's just the way the world works. That's just the way I think certain generations of parents work as well, or for the most part. Doesn't make it right, just makes it the truth. And so I don't believe people are just like born confident. I really don't. I think we have different personalities, but I think confidence in itself is something that is probably taken away as a child, but then, you gain it back and you work to get it back yourself. So the way I can describe this is like when people say like, okay, how can I become confident online and in my content, and like how can I become authentic and not become authentic but feel comfortable being authentic in my content from the lens of you're a business owner and you're running a business, especially something deeper like service-based coaching, mentorship, educating, something to that effect, right? I'm not here to tell you that you need to fucking say like 10 mantras a day of like, I believe I can do it, yay. Like, yes, they are like nice, but they're not the driver. I think from a personal point of view, there's many things you can do, and you need to do your shadow work, you need to do your inner work. That is one thing. Like, the personal and the business are completely linked, right? So if you haven't done shadow work yet, there are many resources to start that. One of them is actually my book. So I wrote this quite a while ago. It's actually a published book. I'm a published author, in case you didn't know. So I'll leave the link to that actually in the description. It's a really good starting point for just on the personal aspect that will spill over onto the business. It's kind of like a guided shadow work journey. So start there and get it at all major retailers, Waterstones, Amazon, anywhere you like. So I'll leave a couple links down below. But beyond that, from a business aspect, I'm going to give you some really realistic advice that honestly I just don't see many people giving. And that is, when you are so into your work, and some people run a business and they don't have care for it. And I'll be honest, like, those are the people that struggle, the people that don't have the genuine care, the people who kind of don't have the drive in that way, in the personal connection, and they're in it for the money. Those are people who I physically cannot work with, because it just doesn't work with the way that I work, and the way that I teach people and how to, do the thing. So this is really realistic advice that I don't really see many people giving. And that is, when you really only focus on your ideal client, when you put your content out there, the people that need your work, the people who will truly, truly benefit, and you get it into your head that you are actually doing a disservice to those people who you're here to help, and that your corner of the world that you're here to change, by not putting authentic content out there that, one, helps them, yes, 100%, but also gives them the safe space that is actually you. Like, the content is the value. You are the safe space. And what is one of the most basic human needs is to feel safe. People want to feel part of something. People want to feel safe. People want to feel like they are held in whatever they're going through. And that doesn't get created without you being authentic. Like, that doesn't get created without people experiencing you and who you are. So yeah, I think that does require a lot of self-security. I think that does require you to do inner work and shadow work, but it also comes down to, if you're so focused, or every time you put content out, on reaching the people who, even if in your head it's like 3 people, which by the way it's not. We always think that the people who will resonate with us, and the people who need our work, and the people who will actually like our personality, we always think that's a stupidly small number, and I promise you it is not. Like, it really, really is not. I'm probably one of the most, like, the least palatable people you'll come across in the business coaching. Well, I'm not a business coach, but in the business, like, mentorship world. Like, I'm probably, on paper, one of the least palatable people, or types of people, not people. There's a lot of people out there, but, types. I'm not here to please everyone. I'm here to be like a beacon to the people who need me, right? So yes, that requires you being, okay with being disliked. And I think that that's a big part of it. You can't reach the people who are here to experience what you have to offer. You can't reach the people who are actually, people who are going to love your personality, what you're here to do, who you are, what you're here to express, what you've been through, all of the stuff that kind of encompasses your brand. You can't reach those people without also reaching the people who are going to be like, I cannot fucking stand this bitch. And like, being okay with that. Some people are not going to like you. And that, I think when you haven't been taught that as a child, and like in adolescence as well, and you're just like, a lot of us are taught like, just get along with everyone, and like, that really is like where it starts. I think it's like creates a breeding ground for like the need for validation, and that really does spill over into like life and then business, obviously. So start by doing the work to uncover like why you feel so insecure online. Like, can you actually go back to where that started? You know, doing the work to kind of uncover why that shows up and how that shows up, you know, looking at maybe comparison, imposter syndrome, and where you, I guess, might be hiding your real self underneath that. And like, no, I'm not saying, like, if you've listened to my content before, you'll hear me say the brutal truth of your business really is not about you, it is about your client, your ideal client. Like, people go on social media running a business, and honestly, sometimes you never fucking know, because all their content literally just talks about them and their brand and their story. And like, yes, their story, you know, I'm not talking about storytelling marketing. I'm talking about, like, it is literally just, it looks like an influencer's page. We don't want to do that, but we want to infuse our valuable content, whether that's education or perspective shifts or, you know, just practical insights, or like anything that we post about that will provide value to our ideal client in a really specific way. We still want to infuse that with us, and like, we need, it's the delivery. You know what I mean? The delivery is us. And that's where the authenticity really needs to shine through. So just some like closing tips is just like, give yourself some grace. Confidence online and being comfortable with online is a journey, and it's like it's almost like a skill to develop, or it's like a muscle to be trained. Whether we want to deny it or not, it's fucking weird as shit to get in front of a camera and talk when you're doing it for the first time, or for the first like even year. Honestly, like, go to my Instagram page if you haven't already. Go to my Instagram page, scroll down a little bit, you'll see I posted some old videos of myself, like probably like a month or two ago now. And it was me when I first started my online marketing journey of my spiritual business, and fuck me, you would not recognize. I was hiding so much. Like, I was there like, hi, when I first started learning about manifestation and the law of attraction, I fucking cringe. I cringe, but I love that. I love that girl as well, because she was like, you know, I'm gonna do it, and I need to do it my way. And yeah, it's cute, put it that way. But I really was like, oh yeah, no, I can't, God forbid I swear if I'm going to be a part of the spiritual community. My God, Jesus. Like, it was, yeah, I really was so terrified. I was really terrified. You know, for the reasons I've already covered, I think. But, you know, I got through it. And so will you. So just give yourself some confidence. Give yourself some confidence. Give yourself, well, yeah, do that. But give yourself some grace around the confidence thing. And, you know, the more you put yourself out there, the more you do this work, the more you kind of like work inwardly to uncover why you don't feel comfortable, the easier it will get. And I promise you, you will get there. And this is the love. Oh my God, what is with my words today? This is the work I love to do with like my students is, and this kills like so many birds with one stone, right? We play around a lot with content formats when we look at, you know, whether we're in a visibility sprint, or I'm doing like a warm-up sprint with someone, like, or even in launch content, it depends. But what I love to do is encourage people to play around with content formats. So like essentially how the content is delivered, in terms of like, are you doing a carousel, are you doing a reel, is it like a thumbnail and then a 60-second video, are you gonna do like a meme style post, are you gonna do a split screen? Like, I always find that really fun, because A, it's good for testing what kind of content works from a strategic standpoint, and two, it brings out this like creativity in you that will kind of, I think people don't even realize that it's doing it, and then they'll be like, up like 2 weeks down the line, oh my God, I suddenly feel really confident. And I'm like, oh yeah, that's because you said fuck the rules, and I'm going to test and refine, and I'm also going to play around with content types that allows me to be creative. One that like hits the dopamine G spot in the brain, because you're like, oh yeah, no, it's giving me, you know, like, it's giving me some spark. And then it also allows you to like push the boundaries of, oh, I'm showing up in this way because I should, you know. So it's hitting that dopamine G spot for my ADHDers. It's giving you that chance to, you know, say, no, I'm not just going to do this type of content because so and so did that. So you're getting out of the comparison trap, and you're playing around with you know, whether it's visuals or, you know, spoken word or the way you write, playing around with different things is going to give you that confidence of, oh yeah, no, I can still forge my own path. And then also third, it's you know, going to be better for your reach, it's going to be better for your engagement because you're constantly keeping it fresh, you're looking at what is actually working for your content. You're like playing around with everything from an emotional standpoint of, okay, what is going to actually resonate with my audience, what's actually going to make people tick. You know, it's getting out of that boring should trap where you're not serving yourself and you're not serving your audience, and then you get to feel confident at the same time. Like, everyone's a winner. So some closing thoughts, I think. I want you to ask yourself, kind of like, when you look at your content, when you look at the way you show up online, who are you comparing yourself to? And how is that actually stunting your growth? Who are you trying to be that isn't really you? Whether that's like, you know, shoulds or literally someone else, or, you know, what mask are you putting on that you've kind of said, oh yeah, no, that's safe up until now, where it's actually not serving you. You know, you only put a mask on for the previous life or life up until now, because that was what kept you safe, and now that mask is actually keeping you unsafe in a way. And are you showing all parts of you without obviously trauma dumping on your clients every time you've had a bad day, on your audience? Sorry, there is a line to be had, but are you showing, you know, the real edge of like what you who you are, and like the messy parts as well as, you know, the polished parts? Or are you trying to like operate under the guise of like just like perfection all the time? So like, when I think of the word leader, right, that's what you need to be. I'm not talking about some pompous fucking asshole who's like thinks he's like Jesus, you know what I mean, or she is like Jesus. I'm talking about real leadership. Real leaders aren't perfect. They show all facets of themselves. They get their hands dirty. They prove that they are the one to help by being like there as them. You know what I mean? That's really what leadership is to me. So one thing I'll say, just rounding this off, confidence is a choice. You make the choice to either work to get there, or you make the choice to be a victim, and you make the choice to essentially hide, and you make the choice to, in turn, I guess, just like suffer. So especially for ADHD entrepreneurs and neurodivergent entrepreneurs, I know how hard this is when you have spent your whole life masking. As I've said, you know, my story was really shitty, and that is hard. But just like rejection sensitivity, just like all of that, it's not that it's not hard, it's just that you can do hard things. You know what I mean? You make the choice, or you don't. And that's the long and the short of it. So that is all from me today. I hope this, I feel like this really needed to be said, so I'm really hoping this is what you needed to hear today. And just to round off, I want to let you know that NFSA, which is the Neuro-Friendly Sales Accelerator, my signature program, my only program at that, is opening its doors again very soon. We are about halfway through the current cohort, which means that in November... Is it November? It is November. We'll be opening the doors again to start in early December. So this is for the neurodivergent, mainly ADHDers I get, but overall neurodivergent entrepreneur. So if you're a mentor, healer, coach, service provider, heart-led, soul-led service provider, this is going to be for you. And this is where I teach you, yes, the skills, the strategies, the structures in marketing and sales on social media mainly, that is designed to be absorbed by the ADHD and the neurodivergent brain, but also where you are able to not only stick to structures that work for you and feel like marketing and sales is easy because it's just working for you rather than you having to like claw your way into it, like when you're trying to follow neurotypical strategies, but it's also where you're actually able to show up online in your content and magnetize people to your brand simply by being you. This is where the confidence, the authenticity work, all comes in, and you get to actually become visible in ways that feel good for you. NFSA is, and I'm very, very proud to say, it is extremely high touch. I am there as your mentor for the whole 3 months. It's a hybrid program. It's not even a group program, to be honest. Yes, we have our fortnightly group calls, but the majority of our time together will be spent every single day in Telegram. Well, the support is there Monday to Friday, every single day that you need it, which if that's every day, great. If that's 3 times a week, awesome. That is private one-to-one. You'll have your own channel where we will be working together. And I will be there to support you. So I'm very proud to say that NFSA is as high touch as it is. And if I'm honest, there is nothing out there on the market that supports neurodivergent entrepreneurs in the way that I do in NFSA. I think that too many neurodivergent entrepreneurs are trying courses and information and strategies and fucking PDF files they have coming out of their literal arse because it's just like the thing that they think is going to fix their business and get them like, yeah, I just need to know more. But to be honest, ADHD entrepreneurs don't often need to know more. Sometimes it's a knowledge gap, and yes, we'll fill those inside of NFSA, but the majority of the time it's an implementation gap. When you look at the reason you struggle with marketing and attracting clients online, you know, it can be a combination, but the majority of the time it's actually an implementation gap. But, you know, in NFSA especially, like I don't believe you have to compromise creativity for structure, and I don't believe you have to compromise structure that you need just because you want to post when you feel inspired. Like, we combine both and we make your content creation and your marketing an extension of you so that it feels like a creative outlet that also attracts clients rather than like a chore, like cleaning out your cat's shit tray, basically. So that's the vibe of NFSA. Please join me on the waitlist if you are, you know, already feeling like it's going to be the place for you. And then you'll get priority access to that before it goes out to the public in November. When you join the waitlist as well, you'll be invited to a Telegram group that is called the NFSA Boarding Lounge. Cute, I know. And that is just where we can gather as a community, and that's just for the waitlist sign-ups, and then you'll get a weekly audio mini training, and then you'll get the opportunity to get some mentorship once a week as well. So that is it from me today. Join the waitlist if you are ready to get in on that vibe, and I will see you next week.